Hello everyone, this is Arindam Paricha, lecturer in biology, Centurion Public School and JITM. Today we'll be discussing about the chapter 4 of CBSE course syllabus class 12, that is reproductive health. In the previous class or in the previous chapter, we have already discussed about the human reproductive system, and today we will concern basically with the reproductive health. See, this is a very important chapter as far as examination point of view is concerned. You'll get a lot of single 1 mark questions or 2 mark questions from this. Sometimes differentiate between topics might also come from this specific chapter. So we'll discuss about this chapter, and it will be completely based on the NCERT course syllabus. Okay, so let's start. Now, what do you mean by reproductive health? This word health we come across very commonly. आप लोग इसको बहुत बार सुने होंगे health. जब हम लोग health का बात करते हैं तो health does not only mean your physical condition. ठीक है, हम लोगों को लगता है कि हमारा physical condition ठीक है मतलब हम लोग healthy हैं. No. According to WHO मतलब World Health Organization, I think you know this. The World Health Organization, it is a international organization which generally concerns with the well-being of people, the medical facilities they cover up, they take care of the poor and the needy people, the food services are provided by World Health Organization. So there are varieties of activities done by World Health Organization. So World Health Organization, they have defined reproductive health as a means of total well-being in aspect of reproduction. Okay, तो reproductive health का मतलब क्या है? Reproductive health का literal meaning होता है the total well-being in aspects of reproduction, that is physical, emotional, behavioral and social. So during reproductive mechanism or during reproductive phase ये चार चीजों को ध्यान दिया जाता है. क्या? Physical condition को, emotional state को, behavioral and social aspects को. तो अगर हम लोग सिर्फ physical elements देखते हैं तो that will not be very appropriate because हमें इमोशनल साइड भी देखना पड़ता है बिकॉज हमारे इमोशनल स्टेट्स भी हमारे बॉडी के फिजियोलॉजी पे बहुत हैम्पर करते हैं. सिमिलरली हमारा बिहेवियरल चेंजेस भी एज वेल एज सोशल चेंजेस. सी ह्यूमन बींग्स आर सोशल एनिमल्स, राइट? वी कैन नॉट स्टे आइसोलेटेड फॉर लॉन्ग. अगर आपको किसी रूम में बहुत दिन तक बंद कर दिया जाए तो यू विल स्टार्ट लूजिंग योर मेंटल बैलेंस. तो हम लोग सोशल एनिमल्स हैं तो हमारा इंटरेक्शन करना बहुत जरूरी होता है. तो इन सब एस्पेक्ट्स को लेके हम लोग रिप्रोडक्टिव हेल्थ को डिस्कस करेंगे. So reproductive health means a total well-being in all aspects of reproduction. That includes physical, emotional, behavioral and social. Now when we are talking of reproductive health, there are many problems which comes out. Okay, और ये सारे problems को tackle करने के लिए हम लोग कुछ strategies भी develop किए हुए हैं. So there are certain health related issues, problems which arises and there are strategies to incorporate it or to fight against it. So India was one of the first countries that initiated action plan to maintain reproductive health. तो reproductive health पे पहले ध्यान देने वाले countries में से इंडिया भी एक था. And they started to think about reproductive health and how it is affecting the population, how it is affecting the country, how it is affecting individuals, and they started developing plans. Now these plans are named family planning programs. And they were introduced in the year 1951. Okay, so you need to remember these 2 points. यहाँ पे आपको याद रखना है. You have to remember this specific point. That is, it was first. India was one of the first countries, and the plans were named family planning plans. Okay, or family planning programs बोल सकते हैं. And it was introduced in the year 1951. Okay. Now, this programs which we are talking about, it actually encompasses a variety of different aspects and different propagandas. We'll not go into much details about this, but we'll discuss a little bit about it. Its main goal was to lower fertility and slow population growth rate. Now, population growth rate is very much concerning throughout the world. And as you people are aware that our population is growing very rapidly, exponentially in some countries you can say. India and China stands among the top countries with highest population. So it is becoming a problem because with the increase of population, we will not be able to maintain all these resources necessary for survival. May it be food, may it be shelter, may it be medical facility. So with increase in population, we will have deficiency or we'll have problem with this kind of resources. So that is a very important point. Okay. So its main goal, किसका main goal? Family planning program. So उसका main goal था to lower fertility. मतलब child bearing capacities of mother या फिर child birth giving capacities और the child birth mechanisms जो भी है उसको हम लोग कंट्रोल करने वाले थे. कैसे? By lowering the fertility and slow population grow rate. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप लोग population को completely उसका growth बंद कर दोगे. You cannot tell people not to reproduce because that is their fundamental right. We are living organisms and हमारा fundamental right होता है to reproduce. So we cannot stop them from reproduction. Yes, but we can control it. उसको कम कर सकते हैं so that we can maintain the resources and also we can maintain the ecosystem. क्योंकि higher population rate ecosystem पे भी बहुत effect करता है. Okay. So this was the main goal of family planning. तो initially वो लोग जब family planning introduce किए थे, now this was the logo. Okay. Remember this logo very carefully. So the logo for family planning is an inverted red triangle. Okay. तो family planning का logo क्या होता है? Inverted red triangle. That is the logo for family planning here, as you can mention. And this was the first one which was introduced by the Indian government. The slogan being हम दो हमारे दो. तो पहली बार जब इंडियन गवर्नमेंट ने इसको इंट्रोड्यूस किया तो वो फैमिली प्लानिंग का जो स्लोगन था उसको बोला गया कि हम दो हमारे दो. दैट मीन्स ए फादर एंड मदर, टू इंडिविजुअल्स विल ओनली हैव टू ऑफस्प्रिंग. उनके सिर्फ दो ही ऑफस्प्रिंग होंगे, दो ही चाइल्ड होंगे. More than two child was generally not acceptable during those times. Initially जब ये program initiate किया गया था. But the problem is India is such a large country and its population is increasing enormously. So there were certain modifications made in the family planning program. And in modern times, the logo has changed to this. And the slogan for this logo reads, Jodi Jimmedar, Jo Plan Kare Paribar. Now here you can say, Hum Do Hamare Do has converted into Hum Do Hamara Ek. Okay. So here the government is stressing on every couple to have a single child, may it be girl child or may it be male child, but a single child is more preferable. So this is the new logo for the family planning program in India. Okay. Now let's move on. Now reproductive health child care programs were initiated just to understand or just to have a, you can say, conception of the growth of the reproductive health in case of individuals and to come across the different kinds of problems we are facing. So RCH stands for Reproductive and Child Health Care Programs. Now these programs which were put forward, they had certain objectives, they had certain goals in mind. Now, what are the objectives of this specific program? The first objective was creating awareness about reproduction related aspects. See, many people are not aware. बहुत सारे लोग हैं जिनको reproductive mechanisms, reproductive health care के बारे में कुछ पता ही नहीं है. And that is the reason we are suffering. So the first thing was awareness, creating awareness about reproduction related aspects. Now the second thing is introduction of sex education in schools to provide right information to young individuals. Now अगर आज से तुम लोग 30-40 साल पीछे चले जाओगे, it was a very awkward situation when the parent had to talk about sex education to their children or the teacher had to talk about sex education to the children, because हमारा जो society है, Indian society is more conserved. We are not very open with this kind of thought process, but it is essential. The young individuals should be aware of the reproductive health issues and they should be given sex education. That was one of the prime objectives of this program. The third objective is awareness of problems due to uncontrolled population growth, social evils like sex abuse, sex related crimes, etc. So awareness was necessary on what topics? Like The sex abuse, sex related crimes, uncontrolled population. Now, these are the things that we need to be aware of. Besides that, I think you are also aware of the sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, I'll just mention it here. और सारे भी बहुत ऐसे टॉपिक्स होते हैं इस पे हम लोगों को ध्यान जाना चाहिए. STD. STD stands for sexually transmitted diseases. Now, about these sexually transmitted diseases, we'll go through in details in the second segment of this discussion. In this chapter, we'll also come across this topic, that is sexually transmitted diseases. So, during the reproduction mechanism, when there is sexual intercourse, certain diseases can be transmitted from one individual to another. One of the prime such disease, as you people are aware of, is AIDS. Okay, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, which is caused by HIV. तो एड्स एक बहुत घातक बीमारी है, हम लोग बोल सकते हैं, सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीज है, जिसका अभी तक हम लोगों के पास इलाज भी नहीं है, और वो कॉज होता है बिकॉज ऑफ HIV, ह्यूमन इम्यूनोडेफिशिएंसी वायरस, सिफाइलिस, गोनोरिया, वैसे बहुत सारे सेक्सुअली ट्रांसमिटेड डिजीजेस है जिसके बारे में अवेयरनेस नेसेसरी है. बिसाइड्स दैट, premarital pregnancy means sometimes if young individuals they involved in sexual intercourse before marriage, in that condition the female individual might become pregnant, which causes a lot of issues for the individual and the family. उस लड़की के लिए, उस फैमिली के लिए बहुत सोशल इश्यूज अराइज कर सकते हैं. बिसाइड्स दैट, कुछ फिजियोलॉजिकल कंडीशंस भी अराइज कर सकते हैं. अगर if the girl is not completely reproductively fertile, there can be certain medical issues, or it can lead to trauma, distress. तो इस kind of conditions भी हो सकते हैं. So these are all a part of reproductive and child healthcare programs. Here you also need to understand, when we are talking of reproductive child healthcare program, these two are very important. यहाँ पे दो चीज इंपॉर्टेंट है. एक तो है रिप्रोडक्टिव, जो अभी हम लोग डिस्कस किए. सेकेंड इज चाइल्ड हेल्थ केयर. Now this also you need to keep in mind. This program also keeps in mind the child health care issue. जैसे चिल्ड्रन को कब वैक्सीनेशन देना होता है, आई थिंक यू आर अवेयर कि गवर्नमेंट जो है वो डिफरेंट प्रोग्राम्स ऑर्गेनाइज करता है, जैसे पोलियो वैक्सीन हो गया, हेपेटाइटिस वैक्सीन हो गया. तो व्हाट काइंड ऑफ वैक्सीन शुड बी गिवन टू द चाइल्ड फॉर इट्स ग्रोथ, डेवलपमेंट, इट्स हेल्थ केयर, दैट इज ऑल्सो ए कंसर्न. Besides that, the nutrition of the child, the government provides in rural areas, and in fact in urban areas, they provide some amount of food and nutrition to the child, specifically belonging to the poor families. So there are different programs which come under this category, that is RCH, reproductive and child health care. Now here you can see, I have just mentioned for your reference a specific problem that is arising due to our uncontrolled growth. This is a chart representing the population growth after independence. Okay, so Indian population has increased in a very vast amount after the independence. In 1947, when we got independence, our population, Indian population, was estimated to be around 350 million only. Okay, but as in this graph you can see, from 1951 it went almost to 400 million, 1961 around 550, 1971 600 plus million, so on. It kept on increasing, and by 2001 we had already reached the 1100 million mark, and now by 2020 our population is expected to be around 1370 million. So just imagine how this population is increasing. So this is a very, you can say, concerning subject, concerning topic, that our population is growing so exponentially, so vastly, in fact, with the implementation of this kind of programs. Okay. So this is just a brief idea about that. Now let's move on to the next topic. Population explosion. Yeah, I actually forgot to give you the definition of it. So this exponential growth of population is called as population explosion. Uncontrolled exponential growth in population. So some of the underdeveloping countries or developing countries are facing this issue. India and China, as I have already mentioned, being at the topmost of the most populated countries in the world. but there are many countries which come under this category. Okay, now let's move on. Now, when we are talking of population explosion, we have seen that population is it's going beyond limits. It's growing very fast, and there are you can say countries, as I have already mentioned, they are not able to control even after implementation of all these programs. Now, what are the reasons why the population is exploding so fast? Now, these points which I'll be mentioning is basically concerned with India. I'm not going for the worldwide reasons for the population explosion. मैं आपको यहाँ पे वर्ल्ड वाइड पॉपुलेशन एक्सप्लोजन के बारे में नहीं बता रहा हूँ, मैं सिर्फ इंडिया के कुछ सिनेरियोज या फिर रीजंस या फिर कंडीशंस के बारे में बता रहा हूँ जहाँ पे पॉपुलेशन एक्सप्लोजन हो रहा है. ओके, द फर्स्ट ऑफ सच पॉइंट इज डिक्लाइन इन द डेथ रेट. डेथ रेट ऑल्सो नोन एज मोर्टेलिटी. I'll just mention it here. इसको ये वाला वर्ड आप लोग याद रख लीजिए. The death rate is mortality, or mortality rate, you can say. Mortality rate is the death rate. Now, this mortality rate or death rate, it has declined. In previous times, the death was a very common phenomenon because there are not so much of medical facilities. Most of the Indian villages were not very connected with the townships. They were not being able to avail medical equipments or medical facilities. There were not a sufficient amount of doctors and staff. There was no ambulance services. So during that time, the death rate was very high. In fact, due to many diseases, they used to die out. आप लोग इमेजिन कीजिए, अगर आज से सपोज 200 साल पहले अभी जो हमारे पास सिनेरियो है कोविड-19 का, कोरोना वायरस का, ऐसा एक बीमारी अगर आज से 200 साल पहले आया होता, we would not been able to tackle it. We would not have those medical facilities अभी जो हमारे पास है, या फिर ये लॉकडाउन का जो सिस्टम है, या फिर डिफरेंट गवर्नमेंट पॉलिसीज जो हैं, they were not there 100 or 200 years before. So the death rate was very high. But right now we are having a lot of facilities, medical facilities, governance level facilities, equipment level facilities. So that is the reason you will find that the death rate has declined. Okay, so this is a prime reason why there is explosion in population. Now the next reason why there is increase in population will be that is the longer lifespan. Initially, people used to have a shorter lifespan, which was estimated to be around 60 years. But with the implementation of all the different facilities that we have, we are able to have medicines, we are able to have antibiotics, we are able to have surgeries and get treated after accidents. So due to all these reasons, the lifespan of individuals have increased. In fact, our lifestyle has also changed according to our environmental needs, right? We are having different sophisticated homes where we avail different facilities, and that is also responsible for increasing our lifespan. So that is a prime cause of population explosion. The next point, decline in maternal mortality rate. Maternal mortality. Maternal mortality means the mother's death rate. In early times, due to lack of facilities, medical facilities, during the pregnancy period or during the childbirth mechanism, there were chances that the mother would die out. Okay, and that is the reason you will find that in initial times, childbirth was considered a very risky business. There are chances that the mother may die out, and there used to be a lot of death of the mother during the pregnancy or during the parturition period, during the childbirth mechanism. That is called as maternal mortality rate, MMR. Now that has also decreased because of all the reasons that we have mentioned just prior, due to the facilities that we are having, the medical equipment. There is a labor room if you go to an hospital, and you'll find there are staff who are specifically concerned with this, the gynecologist. So there is a lot of different kinds of initiatives that have come across the years which have reduced the maternal mortality rate. Now the next point, a similar point will come up, that is the decline in infant mortality rate. Maternal means mother, infant means child. So the child also used to die in earlier times due to lack of medical facilities. but right now we are having different vaccines, we are having different medicines. In fact, if a child is born immature or premature, you can say around 8 months of pregnancy, we are having incubator facilities. We are having different kinds of medicinal as well as different kinds of reproductive health developing programs for the children. So due to that reason, infant or the child death rate has also gone down. More number of children are getting birth. Here I would like to add one more word: natality. Natality means birth rate. Okay, as we have mentioned, mortality, which is death rate, mortality rate, this is the death rate, whereas natality is the birth rate. Now that has gone high. The next point is religious beliefs against birth control. In India, there are many such states and many village rural areas. Even today, use of contraceptive is considered a taboo. वहां पे लोग इस टाइप के जितने भी कॉन्ट्रासेप्टिव मेथड्स होते हैं उनको वो लोग यूज ही नहीं करते हैं, बिकॉज उनका रिलीजियस बिलीफ है, उनका सोशल बिलीफ वैसे है, उनको ये सब चीज बहुत अटपटा सा लगता है. दे डू नॉट कम अक्रॉस, दे डू नॉट एक्सेप्ट दिस काइंड ऑफ मेडिकल आइडियाज. तो दैट इज द रीजन कि बहुत सारे गांव ऐसे हैं अभी भी जहां पे चाइल्ड बर्थ रेट बहुत ज्यादा है. आई थिंक यू माइट हैव कम अक्रॉस पीपल व्हाइल ट्रैवलिंग इन ट्रेन्स और समथिंग. आप लोग देखोगे कि बच्चे, छोटे छोटे बच्चे होते हैं, भीख मांगते हैं, एंड दैट इज, they are all born from a single parent. A couple might have 7 to 8 children, and they send them to the railway platforms for begging on all those kind of activities. So ये जो religious beliefs है जिसलिए वो लोग birth control methods को adopt नहीं करते हैं, उसके चलते भी population बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया है. Next one, necessity of male child. India, you will find that the male dominated society is still prevalent in most parts of India. Though our mindset is changing with advancement of time, but still the necessity of a male child is predominant in most of the families in India. तो हर एक फैमिली में हर एक पेरेंट, हर जो कपल होते हैं, पेरेंट्स होते हैं, उनको एक मेल चाइल्ड चाहिए, क्योंकि उनको लगता है कि उनका जो नेम है, उनका जो सरनेम है, मेल चाइल्ड ही आगे बढ़ाता है, उनका फैमिली लेगेसी मेल चाइल्ड ही आगे बढ़ाता है, which is not true actually. But still that concept is there, and that is the reason why the population is increasing. Suppose if a couple wants to have a child, and in the first pregnancy the female bears a female child, they will try for the second time. If again she bears a female child, they'll try for the third time, so on. Before delivering a baby boy, that women might have already given birth to 3 or 4 female children. There are many such families in India where you will find after 3, 4, 5, 6 female child, there will be a male child. Okay, so that necessity of male child has attributed to this problem, and there is an increase in population. Next one, lack of reproductive knowledge and awareness. In most part of India, not only in the rural India, but also in urban India, there is a lack of knowledge regarding the reproduction and reproductive mechanisms, and awareness is very much essential in these parts. बहुत सारे लोग अभी भी अनजान है ये सब reproductive process के बारे में. So that also contributes to the explosion of population. Enhancement of medical facilities. As I just told you, medical facilities इतने enhance हो चुके हैं कि हमें medicines, हमें ambulance services, हमें birth के टाइम पे जो फैसिलिटीज चाहिए ड्यूरिंग द प्रेगनेंसी और ड्यूरिंग द फर्चुरेशन पीरियड, ड्यूरिंग द लेबर पेन, ये सारे फैसिलिटीज अभी हमारे पास हैं. तो दैट इज द रीजन कि द डेथ रेट हैज गॉन वेरी लो just because of advancement of medical facilities. Now if you imagine some around 100 years from today, अगर कोई जंगल में कोई छोटा सा गांव है एंड वहां पे कोई एक आदमी को कोई सांप काट लिया या फिर उसका कुछ एक्सीडेंट हो गया, कहीं पेड़ से गिर गया वो, तो उसका टाउन तक पहुंचते तक उसका जिंदा रहना ऑलमोस्ट इम्पॉसिबल था. बट आजकल क्या है, nowadays you just dial 108 and the ambulance is near you within minutes and you get saved. There will be no death during that. So these medical facilities have reduced the death rate to a very vast amount. See, here you need to understand that medical facilities are not negatively mentioned here. We are basically talking about population explosion. That is the reason these points have come forward. Okay. Now let's move on to the next topic. Amniocentesis. Now, amniocentesis is a very basic process. It is a procedure in which amniotic fluid is removed from the uterus for testing or treatment. So this method is very common during the later pregnancy phase, जहाँ पे amniotic fluid जो placenta के अंदर रहता है उसको निकाला जाता है. It's being extracted, and from that embryonic cells are extracted, are separated, and from the study of these embryonic cells we can diagnose certain genetic diseases. We can understand the fetal condition, मतलब fetus किस तरह से grow कर रहा है, वो healthy है कि नहीं है, वो सब जान सकते हैं. अगर उसमें कोई इनबॉर्न जेनेटिकल डिजीज है या फिर जेनेटिकली इनहेरिटेड डिजीज है, वो भी हम लोग एमनियोसेंटेसिस से जान सकते हैं. सो दिस इज अ प्रोसेस. दिस इज डायग्राम व्हिच इज ऑन योर स्क्रीन्स राइट नाउ. During the pregnancy, first ultrasound is done. Through ultrasound we check the status of the child and the positioning of the child. Then slowly a hypodermic needle is inserted directly through the placenta into the amniotic cavity. Now, inside this amniotic cavity, as you can see, there is amniotic fluid. A little amount of amniotic fluid is removed from that cavity. Remember, this does not cause any kind of harm to the child or to the mother, because the needles are very thin and very hypodermic. They'll just get into the body and just extract out, just similar to that of extraction of blood. They do not cause any kind of issues, or they will not rupture the placenta completely as well. A minor pore will be formed, but that gets filled up within a very limited time. So amniocentesis is a process basically for testing and treatment, but many you can say the hospitals or clinics, they have used this for a very different mechanism. Now, what is it? In India, as I told you, necessity of a male child. Now, this is the problem that is arising. The problem is, the basic problem is, they are using it for sex determination. Now, if there is a couple and they want to have a male child, so they become so anxious that they first determine if the child is a male child or female child. When you are removing the amniotic fluid, along with it some embryonic cells will also come. If you analyze the embryonic cells, from that you can know if it is a male child or a female child, because as you know, the chromosomal analysis, male individuals possess one X chromosome and one Y chromosome, whereas the female individual will possess two X chromosome. That can be detected by this technique. Okay, so certain parents, certain clinics, certain hospitals, they started developing this practice of using amniocentesis to determine the sex of the individual, to detect the sex of the individual, the child. And if it is a female child, as like in most parts of India, the child is aborted. Such type of abortion or such type of killing of female fetus is called as female feticide. Here I have mentioned this word, female feticide, the killing of female fetus. Fetus side. The word side means to kill. To kill fetus or to kill female fetus, it is called as female feticide. So for that reason, what government of India did, they put a ban on the amniocentesis process for sex determination. Amniocentesis is legal for other processes, for genetical disease identification, for embryonic condition and assimilation. For that it is okay, but for sex determination, amniocentesis is banned in India. A statutory ban on amniocentesis in India in the year 1994 under Probation of Sex Selection Act was made mandatory. Now you cannot determine the sex of the individual before birth. Okay. So the fetal sex determination test based on chromosomal pattern in the amniotic fluid surrounding the developing embryo. तो ये जो amniotic fluid है उससे हम लोग embryonic cells निकाल के उसका chromosomal analysis कर सकते हैं, उससे पता चल सकता है कि male child है कि female child है, but that cannot be done. It is illegal now in India. Okay, so that was done to check the female feticide. So this is a brief description about the introduction of reproductive health, and we also discussed about a few topics regarding the problem and strategies of reproductive health. In the next class, we'll move on to the contraceptive methods. Thank you.